Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my podcast. Today's podcast is titled Outgrowing the Past. The recent Mercury retrograde that we had was very impactful for me in terms of letting me know that there were certain people from my past that I had outgrown. And I'm not saying it to shame anybody or one up anybody. I just realized just because time passes and you don't see a person for a very long time, it doesn't mean that they're changing. It doesn't mean that they're doing the inner work. It doesn't mean that they're reflecting on the way that they've treated me or anybody else for that matter. It doesn't mean that they are elevating their life. And because I've been doing that over these past few years, it's something that sometimes I have to realize that I can't project onto other people. Just because I'm doing the work doesn't mean that they're doing the work. Okay. And I've been seeing a lot of people from my past, like on my social media, and I've even seen, a person in person. And I feel like this Mercury retrograde that we recently had was showing me how far I've come. And I wanted to make this podcast because I feel like somebody needed this message. You have come a long way. Sometimes people can really suffer from imposter syndrome and think that they are not who they say they are. You are who you say you are. You've come a long way. You've grown. This is your confirmation, if you're listening to this podcast, that you have reached new territory. You have healed. You have grown. And the thing about this is a lot of people from your past have not grown. They have not healed. They have not recognized the ways in which they can enrich their life and make it better. They're not doing the same things as you, so it makes you polar opposites, and it allows you to reflect. And sometimes it can be really shocking because people that you haven't seen like 5 plus, 10 plus years, they're the exact same way. They're the exact same way. And when you reflect on the past, sometimes it can anger you, it can upset you, especially when you think about the interactions that you have with other people. And those people that were on my page, and even that person that I seen in person, they were people that have mistreated me in some way. So I found it ironic that I seen them again. But again, I feel like the universe has a way of showing you certain things and giving you certain messages, even if it's not something that's comfortable or what you're used to. And I had to learn in that moment that the past no longer controlled me. Because sometimes when I would see people from my past, I would be like, oh, I want to avoid this person. But then I had to realize, like, why do I have to do that if I've grown? It's like I know how that person operates because technically they haven't grown, but why do I have to avoid that person, or why do I have to? Because sometimes I'm quick to like, oh, if I see a person from my past on my social media, I'm going to block them because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, why are you on my page after how you treated me? Especially when you haven't changed and you haven't reflected upon your actions. It kind of makes me feel like sometimes people want around too because they're stuck in the past. So they think that I'm that same way. And you could be dealing with this in your own life. Like, you will see people from your past or have the same situation I'm going through, like people on your social media trying to contact you, or you just see them lurking because you see their profile or something. It's like sometimes people feel like you're the same way because they're the same way. And you have to realize like you're not that same person. So don't operate as if you are that person. You have to step out of imposter syndrome and know that you are that girl, you are that boy. And if you're non-binary, you are that person, okay? You have grown, you have elevated, you have evolved. You have to keep affirming that to yourself because the people from your past, they're not going to validate that for you. They still think that you're the same way because they are the same way, okay? Do not let your past control you. You have to understand that the past happened for a reason, especially the past versions of you that existed. They existed for this version of you that's listening to this podcast to exist now. That version of you was needed for you to reach this state of awareness. And when you start to liberate yourself from past traumas and insecurities, your life is going to change. When you take control of that narrative and not look at yourself as a victim, but as somebody who overcame what people put you through. You have to realize that sometimes people can see your greatness sometimes before you can even see it. And that's why they'll throw a wrench in your plans, or they'll do things to try to diminish you so that you can sabotage yourself, so that you don't go for what it is you were hoping for, so that you can lower yourself and lower your standards to something that is more comfortable for them. And you don't have to do that. Okay. You don't. When you change, people from the past see you, excuse me, when you change and people from the past see you and they haven't seen you in a long time, understand that they are going to assume that you're the same person, because naturally as humans we project onto other people, whether that's positive or negative. People will project onto you what they are, so they haven't changed, so they don't think you have changed. Okay. And sometimes people will laugh, they'll mock you, they'll still try to gossip about you and say certain things, but you can't let that get to you. You have changed, therefore you don't have the same reactions to them. You know that a lot of these people are unhealed. A lot of these people don't know themselves. A lot of them are going through things and they take it out on other people. So you cannot take it personally, especially from a person that is not doing anything to change their current situation. Okay. And another thing is that people from your past, sometimes they can hold on tightly to those projections of you and the lies that they made up about you, because seeing the real you is painful, because it reflects back to them like, wow, I haven't grown, I haven't changed in all these years, and this person has changed. The real you is beautiful. The real you is resilient, talented, brave, and creative. And the made up version of you that they want you to believe that you are, they believe that you're this person who you're weak, you're lacking in worthiness, as if you need their approval to exist or be great. And they feel like you're somebody who's lame, especially let's say you were in high school and you weren't that person that was the most talkative, or you didn't really put yourself out there. You was just like that person that stayed on your P's and Q's. People can still see you that way. Let's say like you're the nerd turned baddie, right? That's my case, okay? Because I'm the nerd turned baddie. It's like I'm out here, got my degree and everything, and I was that person that was smart in school, and people did not like me for that. They resented me for that. So it's like when you're no longer that person, people will still try those old tricks on you because they're the same person. And that's why I say don't take it personally, don't react, because you're no longer that person. You're not that past version of yourself. Like, it still exists within you, but it's not you currently. That's not who you're presenting yourself to be, okay? So just know that you don't need people from the past to validate how far you've come, because a lot of them won't. A lot of them will see it as it's fake. Like, how could this person change? And again, it's all projection because they haven't changed and probably never will. Okay. Sometimes it shocks people that you have healed and overcome the things that they did to you. Some people really wanted their mistreatment and their gossip and the rumors and the lies that they made up about you to affect your self esteem and self image. They wanted you to hate yourself simply because they hated themselves, and they still do. Your growth can seem too good to be true because they haven't even begun to put in the work. Maturity is a choice thing, it's not an age thing. It's not something that occurs naturally, rather, it occurs by personal choice. You have to decide to grow. And the moment that people from your past see you growing, they're going to think that it's a trick. And they'll even do certain things, like I said, pull old tricks out of the bag to provoke you, and you cannot take the bait. I'm gonna give you all an example and then I'm gonna end this podcast. So recently I went to a store, and this is excuse me. I recently went to a store, and this is a store that I go to very often, to retrieve items that I need. There was a person there from my past, and it's a person that I've known for a very long time, yet I don't really have the best history or timeline with. I met that person when I was very young and we were close friends, and then they stopped being my friend without telling me why. To this day, I still don't know why. And I feel like spiritually, that person has been a karmic lesson for me, because I went to school with them in elementary school, and then I seen them again a little bit for middle school, and then I graduated with that person senior year, because senior year I had transferred and went to another high school. So I find it like it's kind of like maybe this is some type of lesson that I keep seeing this person. So I seen this person again at the store. And again, I don't know what I've done to this person. They never told me. I never got the 411 on why the friendship ended. And if I did something, like I don't know what I did because if I did something to offend that person, I could have apologized for it, but that person never let me know and just built up this grudge and resentment towards me. So I'm in the store shopping, and the first time I saw this person, they were chill, they were by themselves. Then the second time, I came into the store, they had a companion with them. And she started to point me out and just do little petty things like, when you walk by, people are laughing or saying little stuff under their breath. And it's just so sad because it's like, it's been 5 years since we graduated from high school. And it's been about, what, 9 months since I graduated from college because I graduated in December of 2023. And technically, that's about 5 years past because I graduated high school in 2019. So it's like, in these 5 years, you still have so much hatred and resentment in your heart for me. And I don't know why. I still don't know why. And I don't think that at this age that we're at, that that's something that should still be taking place. And when it was happening, I didn't have a reaction. I just got the stuff that I needed and left. I didn't turn around. I didn't try to, confront them on why they were doing what they're doing. I just simply left because I don't have any ill will towards that person. I wish that person the best. Like, I don't have any ill will because I know that when I was in that person's life and we were friends when we were younger, I was a true friend. I know that I never did anything to betray them or do anything behind their back. So that person having so much anger and hate towards me is a very personal thing. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So I didn't let it affect me. And I say all this to say that sometimes you will come across people from your past who they haven't grown. They have an issue with you. And sometimes you'll never know what that is, but find peace in not caring. Who cares? Who cares if they don't like you? Who cares? You have to find peace in that. You have to let the past go, the situation with that person go. Give it to spirit, give it to God, because it's not a battle for you to fight, nor is it a burden for you to carry. Anything you've been through in your past, let it go because you're headed towards a brighter future. You're headed towards better and bigger things. You have a beautiful new timeline in front of you, and you cannot waste your time on the past. That's the mindset I like to have, and that's the mindset that I want you all to have. Because people from your past, sometimes spirit, I feel like let me say this too. I use the words spirit and God interchangeably. So if you hear me saying that, it means the same thing. Okay. And sometimes I feel like spirit will, especially during Mercury retrograde, bring people back from the past to see how much you've grown and also just to show you how much you've grown. So just know that you can outgrow the past. It will take you some time. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have to be willing to look at past situations and really analyze them from a logical standpoint. Take the emotion out of it instead of looking at, okay, why did this person do that to me? Why did they betray me? Look at the circumstances. Okay, what was this person going through at home? What are their mom and dad like? What was their family life like? What kind of people did this person surround themselves with? What kind of personality did they have? Like, you have to look at it like that, very logically, so you can heal from it and take your emotion out of it because you're not a victim. Okay, get out of the victim mentality and realize that hurt people just hurt people, and it's nothing you can do about that but just move on in peace and wish them the best and let God handle it. All right, that's all I have to say, flower babies. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.